The World in the Mirror. A quiet, melancholic piano melody begins, accompanied by the sound of a gentle wind and the rustle of turning pages. Slow, smooth shots pan across an old library, where dust motes dance in the evening sunbeams piercing through tall windows. The camera glides along rows of bookshelves, showing the cracked spines of ancient volumes. Have you ever felt a place watching you? A calm, slightly mysterious voice begins. Not with eyes, but with the weight of its own history. Old buildings, especially, they hold echoes. Whispers of the people who walked their halls, the stories they lived, and the secrets they kept. The camera focuses on a sign that reads, Oakhaven Public Library, then shifts to a young woman, Eliza, as she carefully places a book on a shelf. She smiles, tracing the spine with her finger. In a small town, nestled between forgotten forests and winding rivers, stood one such place. The voice continues. For most, it was just a building of dust and paper, a relic in an age of screens and instant information. But for Eliza, it was a sanctuary. It was home. The music shifts, becoming slightly more anxious as dissonant notes creep in. Outside, the sky has darkened, and rain begins to tap against the windows. Eliza is at her desk, yawning and stretching. The camera captures the long, deep shadows cast by the bookshelves in the empty library halls. One autumn evening, as the wind howled outside, chasing golden leaves down empty streets, Eliza stayed late. The silence of the library was usually a comfort, a thick, warm blanket. But tonight, it felt different. Thinner. Brittle. Suddenly, the light in the hallway flickers violently, goes out for a moment, and then comes back on. Eliza's head snaps up, her eyes wide. She listens intently, but there is only silence. It started with the lights, the narrator says. Then came the sound. A faint rustle, like fabric being dragged across a wooden floor, echoes from deep within the library. The library was empty. She had locked the doors herself hours ago. Hesitating for a moment, Eliza grabs a small flashlight from her desk. The beam trembles as she walks slowly into a dark corridor, the camera following just behind her, building a sense of tension. She moved towards the old storage section, a place where furniture went to be forgotten. And there, tucked between dusty wardrobes and boxes of yellowed newspapers, it stood. The flashlight beam lands on a large mirror in a massive, ornately carved wooden frame. The camera slowly zooms in, revealing the strange patterns etched into the wood. The mirror. It had always been strange. An unnerving presence. Sometimes, when she passed it, she felt a peculiar chill, as if the glass itself was observing her. But tonight, it wasn't just observing. It was alive. Tense, ambient music begins to swell, underscored by a low hum. A close-up shows Eliza's face as she stares into the mirror. At first, nothing seemed out of place. But then she noticed it. The surface, it wasn't still. It rippled, like the surface of dark water. Eliza slowly raises her hand to fix a stray strand of hair. Her reflection doesn't move. It just stands there, watching her. After a long second, it slowly mimics her gesture, but with a horrifying delay. And her reflection, it lagged. A split second behind her. Then, it stopped moving altogether. It simply stared back at her. Not as a reflection, but as a prisoner behind glass. Its eyes held a look of intense, desperate focus. The sound of Eliza's heartbeat grows louder, her breathing quickening. Mesmerized and terrified, she extends a trembling hand toward the mirror. Her fingers make contact with the cold surface. Without thinking, driven by a force she couldn't understand, she reached out. The moment she touches it, the mirror's surface turns liquid, like mercury. It pulls her hand in, then her entire body, swallowing her without a splash. She simply vanishes. The camera lingers on the empty space where she stood, then on the mirror, which now looks perfectly normal. A sudden, sharp intake of breath is heard, followed by absolute silence. The screen goes black, then flashes with a series of rapid, blurry images, shards of glass, inverted landscapes, dark silhouettes. The sound is a disorienting, chaotic mix of thousands of overlapping whispers. Eliza lands hard on a cold, stone-paved street. The world dissolved into a dizzying plunge through darkness, the narrator explains. When she finally landed, she was home. But everything was wrong. Eliza pushes herself up. She's on the main street of her town, but the buildings are distorted, as if seen through warped glass. The streetlights are dark. The sky above is a shattered mosaic of shifting pieces of light and shadow. Where am I? Eliza whispers, her voice trembling. From a dark alley, a figure emerges, cloaked in a long black robe, its face hidden by a deep hood. You crossed through the glass, a deep, echoing voice says. This is the world of reflections. And you are not here by accident. I want to go back, Eliza pleads. A return is always possible, the stranger replies. But the mirror demands a price. To leave, you must find what you left behind, your true reflection. The stranger dissolves back into the shadows, leaving Eliza alone. A constant, unsettling hum fills the air as Eliza walks through the twisted streets. In the central square, she sees what appear to be people, but they are merely shadows. Featureless, dark silhouettes that move slowly, gesturing as if in conversation, but making no sound. As she walks past, every shadow turns its head to follow her. The city was a nightmare of familiarity, the narrator says. It was populated by shades, echoes of people who lacked faces, voices, or substance. Yet, she felt their gaze upon her. 1,000 unseen eyes. Panicked, Eliza runs into an alley and finds herself in an endless corridor lined with hundreds of doors. Etched on each door is her name, Eliza. she found a corridor of doors. Each one a gateway to a moment in her life, but twisted, distorted by the mirror's cruel logic. She opens one door to find her childhood bedroom. As she steps inside, the dolls on the shelf simultaneously turn their heads toward her and begin to laugh, a horrible, mechanical, creaking sound. Screaming, Eliza slams the door shut. She opens another and sees her old classroom, filled with the same faceless shadows staring at her. Another door reveals a family dinner where her relatives are mannequins with empty eyes. Every memory was poisoned. Her joy turned to dread. Her comfort turned to terror. This world was feeding on her past. Emotionally drained, she finally leaves the corridor. In the center of the main square, where all the shadows have frozen in place, she sees her. Her perfect copy. The music becomes quiet but tense, a single, sad note hanging in the air. "You found me," the reflection says, her voice identical to Eliza's, but colder. "This is my life." Eliza cries out. "I need to go home." The reflection offers a sad smile, one not of malice but of deep weariness. "Our life," it corrects her. "Do you know what it's like? To watch it through a piece of glass. To feel everything you feel, your loneliness, your fears, but never be able to act. To be trapped in the dark. Why should you be the one to live in the light, while I remain nothing but an echo?" And in that moment, Eliza understood, the narrator explains. This wasn't just a copy. It was her other half. Every doubt she'd ever had. Every fear she'd ever suppressed. Every secret sorrow. It was all standing right in front of her. The music builds to a dramatic crescendo. The choice was hers. To banish her reflection back into the darkness and reclaim her life. Or to surrender her place, and let her shadow walk in the sun. Eliza looks into her reflection's eyes. The shadows around them begin to stir, closing in. The cobblestones beneath their feet start to crack like glass. Eliza takes a step forward and reaches out her hand, not to fight, but as if in acceptance. "What would you choose?" the narrator asks. The world around them shatters into a million shards of glass, and a brilliant white light consumes everything. The scene cuts abruptly to the quiet, empty library. The mirror stands in its place, its surface smooth and ordinary. After a moment of complete silence, the soft creak of a door is heard. Eliza walks into the room. She stops, takes a deep, grounding breath, inhaling the familiar scent of old books and dust. A faint, confident smile plays on her lips. Silence returned to the library. The mirror stood, just as it always had. And Eliza was back. The camera slowly pushes in on Eliza's face. She turns to look directly into the lens. Her smile is perfect, but her eyes, they are darker now. They hold a cold, unknowable depth that wasn't there before. "Someone returned," the narrator says ominously. But whether it was the real Eliza, we can never truly know. The initial melancholic piano theme returns, but now it sounds sinister. The final shot is a close-up of Eliza's eyes staring into the camera as the screen slowly fades to black. "What do you think happened in that final moment?" the narrator's voice asks, now a soft whisper. "Who came back through the mirror?" Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoy stories that linger in the shadows of your mind, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Until next time, be careful what you see in your own reflection.